Friedman, our Vice Chancellor of Strategy, Planning, and Institutional Effectiveness, to join us today to clear up some of the confusion that's going out there. I know a lot of you have several questions. We've started to address those in social media, but based on the current information that we have available today, that's why we're here, and that's why we're going to try to address those. Dr. Ewan, welcome again to the show.
Right. Thank you so much, Todd.
Let's start with the first question. Why did HCC decide to cancel classes today for the weekend prior to starting the spring break?
So I would say that things have been moving very fast, as everybody knows, and I just want to, I guess I want to start by saying that we're a very large institution.
Right.
And so we're trying to, and we cover, we are spread over 650 square miles in Greater Houston. We have 22 locations that we own or operate, not to mention all of the dual credit locations and other sites where we teach classes.
Including like Fort Bend County as
Exactly.
well, when you have
Yes.
when you go to Fort Bend classes out there, so I want to clarify that.
That's right. So the decision yesterday was based upon facts at two particular locations that impacted closing those locations, right?
Right.
When we say closed, I think people think of HCC as one entity, and there was an assumption that closing meant everything. I saw some media reports where a fairly long statement that we put out about what happened at Fraga, what we're doing at Fraga, what happened at Coleman, what we're doing at Coleman, was condensed into 3 words: HCC is closed.
Right.
Given the fact that it's the last day before break, that there's lots of other announcements coming, the HISD announcement last night, other ISDs, we were getting lots of attention on social media about what's happening, why haven't we closed. We thought it prudent to avoid further confusion just to say this morning at 7:30 or thereabouts, we're closed for today for students. Faculty and staff are still expected. They're beginning the process of preparing for when students come back, and we're going to be working through the week next week to make sure that happens. I do want to say that as it relates to all of this, there are no confirmed cases. We have people that are HCC employees, okay? So we continue to monitor that. That has some impact on how we respond to particular cases. If it's a confirmed case on our location, that changes all sorts of protocols in terms of the decisions that we make.
You mentioned 2 certain campuses. That leads to my next question. Yeah. What exactly happened to make those buildings decide to close late yesterday afternoon? If you can clarify, because there's been rumors floating around in social media. Maybe you can tell us what you know and what we can tell people. So
first of all, let's say that part of what we are careful about what we disclose, because if you give too many details about the particulars of an event, you run the risk of identifying the person who may be at the center of this. So we had information about a person at the Fraga Academic Building who had been at a conference where there was 2 confirmed cases that emerged later. Okay, that led us to, and that person was beginning to demonstrate signs of, again, not confirmed.
Sure.
Actually, they were advised by a health authority to self-quarantine based upon their, and to monitor the situation.
Right.
Because of that, out of an abundance of caution, we decided to close that building. Okay?
The Fraga on the Fraga campus.
The one building
Right.
on the Fraga campus.
Right.
There were HISD middle college students in that building, and we immediately informed HISD of that. There is also an early college high school in a building next door. The middle college students were removed. HISD later in the day put out a notification indicating that they were suspending classes.
Right.
So that was that situation. At Coleman, it was a slightly different situation. A person who came to Coleman had been in contact with someone who had been confirmed. This person has not been confirmed, but is in self-quarantine. And so we have begun the process of identifying the spaces where they were, the individuals that they may have come in contact with. I know that there was an event there. We understand there was a job fair or something that
Right.
was there that contained about 50 people. So it's smaller than was originally discussed or put out. So it was about 50 people. We believe that the chance of exposure is low, but we are reaching out directly to anyone that we think ought to be alerted, and as we get more information, or if there is more information, we will make sure to have that distributed out.
And you brought up a good point. There's been, as I mentioned, things float around in social media.
That's right.
It's you know, a lot of rumors going around out there. Be careful on what you share. Be careful. Look at your sources before you just share a piece of information. Take a good look at it, because you can spread panic. And go to the grocery store. You'll see a lot of that happening. You can spread panic by just sharing something. So get your sources, look at the sources, ask questions. A lot of folks have posed questions in social media. We are trying to answer those questions, and that's what we're here for today, to answer questions you may have. If you have something that you want to ask, you can post it in the comments below. We've got folks standing by who will answer those questions. And we'll either answer them on the air right now, or we will answer them in social media, in the comment section, or direct message you.
So, Todd, let me just say a few more things about those locations. As we move into spring break, HCC is not closed. Classes are not meeting. That's the distinction.
Right.
We have 2 locations where buildings have been closed. Coleman is closed. Fraga Academic Building is closed. Actually, if you were to go there right now, you would not be able to get in. If you have a key pass, like I carry around with me, I don't have it on me right now, it would not work, because the cleaning crew has started the protocols to take care of those facilities. My colleague, Dr. Shantae Grays will be here later today
Right.
to talk a little bit about the services that are available. Whenever we go on break, there continues to be a range of services that are available to students. Our facilities are often open, not everything, but there are services available to students in terms of access to materials they might need for studying or those kinds of things. We're going to put that detail on the website later today. Shantae will be talking a little bit about the particulars of that and some other items specific to students later this afternoon. So I would encourage people to log back into that. I do want to say that classes are not meeting during spring break,
Right.
but the college is not closed. 3 buildings have been closed, 2 at Coleman,
Right.
the 2 buildings that are there, they're connected, and the Fraga Campus Academic Building.
Okay, so keep that in mind. If you are reporting for work today, or if you're questioning whether that's happening, except for those locations, we are asking you to report to work. Another important thing, which I've had questions about this today, the self-reporting form. What is that all about? Is it something, if you're feeling symptoms, if you haven't tested positive or you're feeling symptoms, do you need to fill that out? If one of your family members tests positive for the coronavirus, do you need to fill that out? If you're traveling, do you need to fill that out? Maybe you can clear up some of that.
There's been an evolution in our self-reporting forms. There was originally a fairly simple one that was on our website, just to get a sense as to what was happening. This is as things were emerging. That form has now become a little bit more robust, asking more detailed questions. Ultimately, our goal is, one, to be informed so that we can support students. We did very similar things during Hurricane Harvey.
Right.
We created opportunities for students to let us know, my house is flooded. There were lots of opportunities during that time where people who were in other parts of the city who were not impacted were able to provide support and help to students. And there was a great deal of cross-institutional or cross-Houston support for each other. In a similar way, we're trying to make sure that we know as much as we can and can provide support. The travel form is a slightly different form, right? So let me just finish my thought there. The idea of the self-report form in terms of their condition is not an attempt to ban people from anything. It's an information collection. It's a way for us to get a better sense as to what's happening with our students, with our faculty, and our staff. On the travel side, especially going into spring break, we're aware this is an international city. We have more international students at this college than any other community college in the country. because Houston is an international city. People travel. If you're going to be traveling, if you're traveling outside the United States, which is becoming more challenging, by the way, make sure that you let us know where you're going. And in particular, if you're going to be going to one of those locations that have been designated an area of a troublesome area in terms of a hot spot with regards to that. Realize, of course, that's also now true in the United States.
Yeah.
There's a containment zone that's been established in New York City. Those are things in terms of there are protocols about going in and out of those places, but we want to make sure that we have as much knowledge about what's happening and can be supportive and helpful to students as we can.
You know, you brought up a good point, and I want to address this now. There's been some concern in social media. HCC has a number of international students. Does that affect our operations in regards to the coronavirus? But realistically, Houston, you said it just now, Houston's an international city.
Right.
It's not just our campuses. So we're an international city, and our student body on the campuses simply reflect to what's going on around the city, correct?
That's right. Our students tend to reflect the population that's
Absolutely.
here. The number one category of international students we have are from Vietnam. 1,400 students are at our locations studying from Vietnam. Why? In large part because there's a large Vietnamese community here in Houston that embraces them, that there's a ready-made community that can come here and engage with. So yes, it's a byproduct of the city in which we live. It is part of the way we think about our work. It's not posing any challenges to what we do, other than the fact that those students, like everybody else, all of our other students, we're here to support them in any way we can.
Absolutely. Once again, to clarify the extension for spring break, if students have exams over this weekend, because this continually gets asking, whether it's a GED exam or a final or a midterm,
That's right.
those are suspended at this time through the end of spring break, which right now is going through the middle of not next week, but the week after, correct?
So let me clarify this. There are some courses, some 8-week courses, that are ending now. As we move into break. Those courses have testing established. Our decision indicated that our college classes had been canceled. And there was a more nuanced statement that's on the website, and what that says is that students should be listing out for the testing options that they're going to get from their faculty. So that they can close out those courses. If I were a student, I wouldn't want to wait another 2 weeks to take my finals. We're going to figure out how to make that happen. That's part of the reason we keep our locations open, except for the two locations where there are closed buildings. The students will be able to finish those out. Faculty are working to be as accommodating as they can in terms of student need. But we're not going to wait until after break for the students to finish out their exams.
To finish out the semester for them, their 8-week session.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of everything else, we're extending spring break. So it obviously starts today.
Right.
It goes until Wednesday the 25th. Classes resume Wednesday the 25th. As of now, lots could change between now and then. People should keep watching for updates as to what's happening. I mentioned yesterday that before people come back, there will be a comprehensive communication plan that has been implemented on our website that will give students, faculty, and staff a much clearer idea as to what they're coming back into, what they can expect. One of the things we're working on is not just helping faculty prepare for the migration to hybrid or online learning. We're also going to have services available to help students who have never done that be prepared as well. This is a transition it's a different way of learning, and the transition can be challenging, and we want to make sure that everybody has as much resources as they need.
And as far as going to the website, that website address, can you go over that real quickly as to where they can go on the website?
So if you go to the HCC homepage, there's a banner right at the top.
At the top. That's the easiest way.
That's the easiest way. Go directly to the hccs.edu website, and there's a banner on every page that you would scroll to. Hit that for more information. It takes you to everything that you need to know as a student. And for faculty and staff, there's a lot of information for them there, but there is also another page on our internal My HCC site that will provide them more employee-specific information that they may need.
And this is, one thing we can't state enough is this situation literally changes by the hour.
Yes, it does.
Major decisions are having to be made hourly as to how we're operating as cases pop up, and we're changing things. So we can't stress enough, go to our website at all times to check and see what the latest is. And you can always visit the homepage, or you can visit hccs.edu/health-notice. Save that in your browser, or it all fails, just go straight to the website, the main one, hccs.edu, and click on the banner. Dr. Kurt Ewan, boy, it's been a busy day for you guys, busy week for you guys.
That's right.
And it's certainly not going to let up. Thanks for joining us this morning.
So, Todd, let me just say one more thing, and that is, again, to make sure everybody keeps up to date. I also want people to be aware that the decision-making that we're doing is informed by very specific information. There are conference calls almost on a daily basis with federal officials, local, national, state officials, so that we're collecting that information. We're following all the CDC updates. We're following Harris County Public Health in terms of what we're doing and how we should respond. So we're not making this up as we go. We're trying to be as responsive as we can to the best information on the ground as to how we should respond.
And, we're going to continue with these updates. Dr. Ewan, thanks again for joining us here this morning. We will have an update later today.
Yes.
Dr. Shante Grays, who's our Vice Chancellor of Student Services, she will be on for an information session. Once we know the time, we're going to send that out in social media. So we're going to advertise that through social media. You will be seeing us later on today. Possibly over the spring break time. We'll give you live updates on this show as needed, and we'll advertise those in social media. So stay tuned. Make sure you watch us on YouTube, Facebook. Share this post once it's recorded to get the information out there. And at any time, you can visit hccs.edu/health-notice. Health-notice for more information on all of our announcements. I'm Todd Duplantis. Thanks for joining us this morning. Up to Minute. We'll see you later on today.